I know you talked about this on your podcast this week, but and it's taken off quite a bit since you probably recorded this week, but where do you see the league going in these next few days, weeks, as paces increase?
Man, I think they should shut it down for like a couple weeks at least. And I don't know if that means just shutting it down now into the new year. But I would say like just instead of the All-Star break happening, just like nothing happens so everyone can rest up and stuff, and like at least hold the spread. Like I don't know the
slow it down. You kind of just need to
prevent the spread. Prevent the spread at least. But I mean, the NHL makes too much money off the All-Star game that they won't cancel it, especially with lack of revenue coming in the past couple of years. So I think they should just shut it down until like the new year, maybe. But I don't know, man. It's such a tough situation because they're finding ways around it. But the more you replace guys, then they're going to be added to protocol, and it's just going to be a revolving door within organizations, and nothing's going to be like isolated. It's just going to be constant until the playoffs, and then we might have to go into another bubble, which like no one wants. That's a fact. So I don't know. I'm pretty uncertain about it. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I would say shut down for a couple of weeks.
Kind of take your Christmas vacation, essentially. If you're the NHL and probably the NBA, and even really football, like I wouldn't. I know football probably wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't be upset if all these leagues were just like, hey, we're going to take a couple weeks off. We're going to help, try and slow it down, and we'll get back to you January 4th, and we'll see what's new and where we're at. And I mean, this is also coming from the same guy like myself who has tickets to hockey games, who works for a hockey team, a junior hockey team. Like the health should be more important than the actual financials. Yeah. But that's easier said than, telling that to an owner and a commissioner of 30 teams who are billion-dollar teams, essentially. Unless you're the Coyotes. But like,
quick jab.
But I just like that. Like that's the whole thing, is that I really don't know like where we're gonna go and what the next step is here. Like I like to be a problem solver, and I don't know how you solve the problem other than just not playing for 2 weeks and seeing where you're at.
Yeah, I'm in agreement too. Like, if you're gonna shut it down, when do you shut it down? Do you shut it down immediately? Like, how do you reschedule games? How is that gonna happen? Where are you gonna slot the games in? Like, are you gonna push the playoffs back again? Like, and we're gonna be playing into July, like, and then the short off season. Are you gonna take it down to 70 games next season so that you can push it later into the summer? Like, how are we gonna do this? And I'm sure the NHL doesn't want to go into the summer again and then have another shortened season. It's not going to be like a 50-game season next year if we push it back. It would just be 72, take 10 games off each team. So it's a hard thing to judge because it's a situation where you can't necessarily make every team happy.
And like the Canucks are hot right now. Like that, exactly. That would be a real slap in the face, I'm sure, to the Canucks. Like, hey, we're doing well right now. And even though like Tucker Poolman and Luke
Shen is in protocol, Brandon Sutter's been in protocol, and who else? But
it's kind of like I was gonna say. It's kind of like what you say. Like is now rock bottom that now you should be stopping games? Like I don't know I don't know if you can get worse than this. That's just what I really don't know. Like I don't have the answers, and I'm sure the medical people don't have any of the answers. Like I'm sure the doctors probably don't know like what the next step would be other than shutting it down, and the league probably doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think the league wants to shut it down at all because once again, they have a projection of the cap going up by $1 million next year. And if they shut it down, then that might not happen. And I think they want to stay on course, so they don't want to risk losing any money, but also the health of the players are at risk. And like, you know, like recovery, it wouldn't be the same for any of the players. And remember when the Canucks had like 21 players on COVID protocol, and then they had a week to come back and play. And JT Miller came out and said, like, NHL, this is bullshit. Like we all are just coming off COVID, like our whole entire team, and you're making us play like right away.
You're playing 15 games in 30 days to end a season that wasn't going to the playoffs. Like you weren't going to make the playoffs anyways.
Yeah. So it's such a hard situation to manage. And is there even a right answer? I think there's just like a solution. Like it's almost like you can't really give them a choice. Like, I mean, I know the Olympics, they are giving the players the choice, and they have up until the day before the Olympics to like, yeah, like, I don't think, like, I'm not down for this, whatever. So I know they're giving the players a choice in that, but I think for this protocol within the NHL, I think they just need to be like, okay, this is what's happened, and everyone deal with it. Whether you're happy or angry, this is what's happening. We'll go on pause for a week, see how everyone is, see if anything's been isolated, how the teams are doing, how the players are doing. It's almost like a lockout or a strike or whatever. Like they just push back dates. It's like NHL set to resume December 27th. Sit out for a bit. It's the only thing that kind of makes sense right now. But also there's a lot of teams who, like the Canucks, who are hot right now, but teams like Edmonton, they could use the break because they're on a slump. So yeah, I think they just need to be firm with the decision, because it's a situation where you can't make every team or owner or GM or players happy. So yeah, I don't know. They need to do something though.
Well, and I think this is kind of going kind of like what, we've seen with like kids going back to school or people going back into workplace. Like, I don't know if there's one right way of doing it.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if there's a right, like, this is like, yes, this is the obvious thing we need to do, and we're going to do it right now. Like, I don't know if there is that. It's just a matter of like telling people, hey, this is a serious medical situation. We have to look out for the safety and best interest of our players. Here we are. Who says no?
It's they just need to be set on like, okay, this is happening. Here's a memo. NHL shutting down. Say, what is this? The 16th today.
I have no idea.
As we're recording, let's say it is. This sounds about right. Yeah, the 16th, yeah. Thursday the 16th. As of December 19th, we are shutting down until January 4th. Everyone gets the break until the New Year off. Let's see how the teams are. We'll push the playoffs back until, instead of April, do beginning of June, and then playoffs will start. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
And for even for the players' sake, at least then you get to be home with your kids. Like, you get to be home with your wife and kids for the week, and your family and whatever, and get some time away from the ice rink. Like, I'm sure there's been a lot of stress of people coming back to the arena, coming back to the rink every day. Like, we've seen it with like Carey Price. It's been a bit challenging for him. We've seen it's been a challenge, I'm sure, for some of these, like, Austin Matthews, like another guy who's dealing with a wrist injury, who's trying to make his way back into, he's obviously killing it, but he had a bit of tough time getting started. So I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just taking a week or two off, having the players go hang out with their families for 2 weeks, and we'll reconvene in Jan 4th, and we'll get the season going again, and then we'll figure it out as we go along.
Because even if you shut it down like right before the holidays, what if someone tests positive and they can't be with their families while, like, during Christmas? If you shut it down now, you give people time to at least get a chance to recover from the symptoms. They can spend the holidays with their families, come back in the new year. Everyone's well rested. Everyone is hopefully healthy to an extent. The spread has somewhat died. Give everyone a raise to sanitize the arenas. and everything.
Arenas,
and
practice facilities.
Exactly. Give everyone a boost in pay for like a couple bucks an hour extra to like, hey, let's grind this out.
Here's some overtime.
Yeah. And let's try and isolate this virus so that we can resume the season and basically press the reset button.
Yeah.
We're at the halfway point. Let's press the reset button. Let's try and isolate and prevent any more of the spread. Let's shut it down until the new year. Let's just do this. And maybe the first game back will be the Winter Classic.
There you go. I don't mind that. And I'm sure we're going to have enhanced protocols probably for the rest of the year, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be, everybody's got to be wearing masks. Everybody's probably going to have boosters. The whole 9 yards. Everything we were doing last year, we're probably going to have to do that again for the rest of this season just to make sure we're all safe and healthy.
I got a question for you.
I might have an answer for it.
With the boost with how this spread has happened, do you think the NHL goes to more baseball style scheduling next year? I
hope so. I don't think they will, but I hope so.
Islanders, you're over in Vancouver. You're going to play back-to-back there, and then you're going to play Edmonton and then Calgary. You're going to stay in that province, and then try and make it a baseball schedule, get all the games between them out of the way, and then
I don't mind that. I think Jonathan Toews talked about that quite a bit. Even pre-COVID, Jonathan Toews talked about that quite a bit.
Series.
Sure, you play, you play 2 games and 3 nights in Nashville, and then you get to go on to Raleigh or something to go play the Hurricanes. It wears on players going from, hitting up Nashville, Dallas, and St. Louis in 5 nights and not getting accustomed to any of it, which is why I would like to see a baseball style of scheduling. I just don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen either, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of the spread has come from going through in and out through customs and airports and traveling.
We're doing more normal things now, so it's not totally surprising. I think they should play less games. The NHL should play less games in general. I think they could just do
72.
I would even just you get you do a home and away versus every team. You get 62 games and you get a home and away, and then you can have longer playoffs. You have more teams in the playoffs. I'd love to see a 32 team or a 30 team playoff with your 2 shittiest teams not making it, and then have a best of 3 for your first round, so then you can increase playoff revenue. But that's something like that I think would be interesting. But in terms of how they do the current model, just do fucking 2 games in Florida and in 4 days, and you get to go back to Toronto or wherever and call it good.
Because when you cut down games, you prevent back-to-backs, and then you prevent the condensed schedule of if they went down to say 70 games.
Yeah.
Right? Then that gives more time between away games for teams to travel. They can stay back, test. Okay, we're fine. Let's go to the next venue. Keep the same length, same start and end date, but less games. So it gives teams more time between games so that they have time to do I have it?
Well, even having a taxi squad. I don't know what, in hindsight, why don't we have a taxi squad?
Yeah, they had it for the playoffs. Why can't you just do it for the regular season?
Why
Is that your Black Aces, though?
I mean,
kind of, but it's a bit smaller. It's a bit smaller.
You have 3 or 4 guys. You don't need 5. You have 3 or 4 guys, and you have a goalie, you have a forward, and you have a D-man. And if it gets really out of hand, nobody, I never thought it would get this out of hand. I thought we would probably have a few COVID cases. I never thought it would get this out of hand.
I didn't think it would get this either.
And that's what the taxi squad, even if we had 3 players, it wouldn't make much of a difference because half of literally 3/4 of the Flames are gone. 2/3 of the Flames are gone.
It's crazy.
Of COVID. So